Imagine an ordinary morning, an alarm clock, coffee, a mirror, and suddenly, something clicks in every human brain on the planet, simultaneously, like someone pressed a honesty button deep in the firmware of the mind. No pain, no special effects, just lying becomes physically impossible. The first casualties are office workers. "How are you?" a colleague asks by the coffee machine, and the person who usually says fine just unloads everything. The mortgage, the cat, the fact that they've hated this open-plan office for 4 years straight. The colleague stands there with a mug and has no idea where to go. At the same time, the first calls hit customer support centers. The operator who's supposed to say, "Your call is very important to us," just goes quiet, because saying it is no longer an option. But the real chaos begins when parliaments open their doors. Members of parliament walk in, sit down, turn on their microphones, and start telling the truth. One admits he never actually read the bill he just voted for. Another says he promised to build a road, but the money kind of dissolved on its own. A third one simply stands up and says, "Honestly, I'm here by accident. I thought this was a different committee." Parliamentary broadcasts around the world suddenly hit record viewership. For the first time in history, the corporate world collapses within an hour. Ad agencies are the first to go, because the slogan, "the best product in the world," simply won't come out. A copywriter sits in front of a blank screen and physically cannot type all natural ingredients on a label that lists 35 chemical additives. Press releases from major companies that day look something like this. "We regret what happened." "No, we don't. We're sorry you found out." HR departments are paralyzed, because when asked, "Why do you want to work here specifically?" the honest answer comes out as, "You pay $300 more than my last place." And the interviewer nods, because saying, "We value your passion and purpose," isn't coming out either. The hardest hit are people at home. "Do you like my new haircut?" A long pause. There are no statistics, but it's safe to assume, on the first day of the event, and the number of couches men sleep on roughly triples. First dates, on the other hand, become something remarkable. People stop performing polished versions of themselves. No more "I love outdoor activities" from someone who last went outside voluntarily in 2019. No more "I'm very easygoing" from the person who keeps a spreadsheet of grudges. Just who people actually are, with all their quirks. Psychologists note a paradox. First dates on this particular day are significantly more likely to lead to second dates. Social media experiences the strangest day in its history. Instagram. Someone opens the app, wants to caption a sunset photo with "live in the moment," and can't, because the photo was actually taken 3 months ago, waiting for the right mood. Posts that day look like this. "This dish looked better in the photo. I don't know why I'm posting this. There were 5 of us, but I asked everyone to step away so it would look like I was alone." Reach drops, but the number of likes goes up. People are finally liking things they actually like. There are fields where this day passes almost without incident. Doctors and scientists barely notice the difference, because a good doctor already tells the truth. A good scientist already writes insufficient data when the data is insufficient. The only change? Doctors stop saying, "This won't hurt." They just go quiet and give the injection. By the evening of the first day, the world starts to adjust. People begin to speak less, because silence isn't a lie. It's just silence. And it turns out that a significant portion of human communication was just filled in quiet. Negotiations get shorter, but the agreements reached are more real. Newsrooms go into crisis because the headline "experts are concerned" now requires actual experts who are actually concerned, not just in theory. And somewhere late at night in some city, 2 people are talking at a kitchen table. No phones, no roles, saying what they think, realizing they haven't done this in what feels like a very long time. By the next morning, the button switches off just as suddenly as it switched on. People can lie again. And most of them exhale with relief, because it turned out the truth isn't just uncomfortable. It takes courage. It requires words that don't always come easily. It requires being ready to hear the same thing back. The world didn't fall apart in one day of honesty, but something shifted, quietly, almost invisibly, as if people were left with a small question that's now hard to ignore. What if sometimes you don't need the button at all?